Hi everyone, Kelly Bear here. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a VR question mark. It's not really a VR because it's not a hashtag, but it's inspired by, let's say, Tom Benjamin, who did a really fun video about curiosities in his Cartomantic collection. And there were some decks that I myself owned in that video, ones that I can think of, the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle, the Witchwood Oracle. There was another one that I'm failing to remember at the moment, but yeah, I decided that I wanted to do this as well. I thought it was fun. I was like, what kind of sort of curiosity type decks do I have in my collection? So I won't be sharing the ones that Tom shared in his video for sort of to avoid sort of repetition, but I do have 10 decks that I've pulled aside that I think are kind of curios. There's a mixture of tarot, oracle and lenormand, and I'm not going to be showing these in any particular order. I'll just see what takes my fancy as I go along. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to walking you through some fun and interesting decks. I'm just going to move this little Froggy Woggy out the way a little bit there. There you go, Froggy. So let's see, I've got a whole stack here. The first deck I think I'm going to show you is a deck that I haven't really used. I've used it, I've tried to use it, but I can't get to grips with it, and so that it went in a box out of the way, and then I haven't really used it since then. And it was one of those purchases where I was out shopping with a friend and we went into the big bookshop there at the shopping mall, and I was like, I want a deck. And so I went to the little section where they often have decks, and my goodness, it was not a good selection. It was very paltry, but you know, when you're like, I just want something, which is not great. I really try not to do this these days. We're going back, I can't remember when I got it, maybe 2017, 2018, can't remember. And I was like, well, this looks like the best of a bad bunch. I will grab that, I guess. And it's the Karma cards. These were created by Monty Farber of the Farber, you know, his wife, he and his wife, Karen Farber, did the Enchanted Tarot and a bunch of other decks. They've got like oracles and tarot. There's another tarot deck. Yeah, I just thought, well, I like the Enchanted Tarot. Maybe I will like the Karma cards. Wasn't loving the name. And it is astrology based. Ooh, excuse the ring light. And I'm not really an astrology person. And you know, I don't know, but I just thought, well, it was like a tenner, I'll give it a go. And I found it really, really confusing. I think also because it's around astrology, and I'm like, but isn't astrology about where the planets are placed, not about what they're telling you on cards? So I found, I guess we do have astrological associations in tarot, but I don't use those either. So if you're into astrology, maybe you have this deck, maybe you will be interested in this deck. I don't know. But it's weird. It's a curio for this reason. I'll show you. So it's not many cards. I think there's maybe 36 cards, I want to say, because there's 12 of each suit, as it were. So here we have 12 planets cards. Okay, and this is how you're supposed to read with it, right? You get 12 planets cards, you get 12 signs cards, okay? And then you get 12 houses cards. And see, I'm not very good with astrology. I know you can have this particular sign or planet in this particular house. It's I don't really know astrology, bar the bare minimum that people absorb just through osmosis, living in a society that does have horoscopes in magazines as a teen and stuff like that. I know what my you know, like what my main star sign is and what my rising and my moon is, and that's about it. I have had my chart done a couple of times, but again, it's all gobbledygook for me. I can't understand it. So yeah, see, what you do is it's really funny how Monty explains how to ask a card. Like, it just cracks me up from the beginning. It's like, where is it? Try taking 3 luxurious deep breaths to help you concentrate and feel the invisible, life-giving air surrounding you, filling you up and rushing out to surround you. Once again, it's very sort of, it's quite dramatic the way that he like describes, you know, doing a reading, which I guess is quite fun in its own way. So what you do is you like shuffle these individually. There's like 12 in each, I believe, as I said. Maybe it's not 12. I don't know. I cannot remember. It's been a long time since I used this deck. And you ask your question out loud if possible, says Monty in the book. You like pull a card and you doop, 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 you put it back there. And then you do the same with the other 2, essentially. So I'm just doing like a mock reading, I guess. I meant to be showing the cards, but the cards, oh, sorry, Scully, are not, sorry, X-Files joke there. I'm so cool. I was one of those cool kids that really got into X-Files when it aired. Yeah, X-Files is cool, damn it. I like the X-Files. It's fun. Who cares about being cool? Cool is relative anyway. Cool is silly. And then what you do is you like turn them over one by one. Again, I imagine in a very dramatic fashion, according to Monty Ferber. Oh. Oh. Careful not to fling the other cards out of the way as you turn them over. Ha! And then he says you will find that you will have answers in red and answers in blue. The answers in blue are what the outcome, shiny, let's move that out of the way. Answers in blue are like if you want to know the outcome of your question. And then the red is the advice of what to do in the situation. So he says, depending on what it is that you want from the reading, turn the cards that way around. So let's say we let's say we want to know the outcome. Now there's 3 different ones. I think it's nurture, you join them up. SMP. What does SMP stand for? I'm gonna have to check that in the book. Hold on a second. That's it, I remember now. So it's spiritual, mental, or physical. So it's he's saying like at last, now the fun starts. Notice that the karma cards have a single letter, either S, M, or P, to the left of the words. These letters denote the 3 levels of answers you can obtain. So spiritual, mental, physical. At least one of these levels contains the answer to your question. But where is the answer? Simply read the sentence formed by the words on the spiritual level of the 3 karma cards. See that in our example, and he's doing it in the red, spiritual action sentence reads, actually we don't need to do all this boring, blah, 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 blah. Do the same with the sentences on the mental and physical levels, and at least one of these will have your answer. So basically it's like read them all and then choose what resonates, I guess. It's almost like choose your own answer as well. So we have the planet is the moon, technically a satellite, but you know, old school astrology. I'm also interested in what kind of astrology is he using, because he's calling it the karma cards, but I imagine he's not using, is it Vedic astrology, which would be linked with the you know, with the area in Asia where you would like find Hindus and practicing and actually understanding the concept of karma. They would utilize a different form of astrology from what I understand. Again, if I'm massively getting things wrong, or if I'm sort of misspeaking in any way, please excuse my ignorance. Astrology is such a behemoth of a subject. And so the spiritual is the nurturing of spirituality to ultimately experience a balance. Oh, that's actually quite good, and it's very linked to something that I was petitioning my spirit allies about this morning. Maybe I didn't even ask a question, but maybe it's giving me an answer. Or maybe I need to use these. The mental feelings caused by trusting your psychic knowledge of cooperation. That doesn't make sense to me. Reactions resulting from the indecision of or about your partners. Okay, so the first one seems to be the one that makes the most sense, just without a question. So there's that. So let's just have a little look. This is going to be a really long video, I imagine. We've got the North Node, Jupiter. So we've got little bits of artwork in the middle. Neptune, Mercury, the South Node. Let's look at these dragons. Pluto, Saturn, Venus, Uranus, the anus, sorry, I am 12, Mars, and the Sun. And then we've got the signs will just, I guess, just be the regular, you know, Scorpio, Taurus. There's Aquarius, there's me, that's my main star sign. Doop, doop. And yeah, so it's kind of cool. The artwork's pretty cool. I really like the Zerna's style of art. I think it's very cool, especially Karen's like sort of textile stuff. And then the houses, we've got the 10th house. See, I don't know what the 10th house is, you know. The 3rd house. Maybe this will help me understand astrology. Have I not realised this, that this might... The 8th house, 12th house. Ooh, I'm having a thought. Let's have a look. Let's have a wee look. Did I just sort of dismiss this because I was like astrology? Signs, Jupiter, nodes, the houses. Here we go. The 7th house is defined by the 1st house. Okay, that makes no sense to me. People that read it, that know astrology, are probably like, you're such a silly sausage. It's telling you where they are. At the top of the horoscope. The 4th house is at the bottom of the horoscope. Oh, your hidden life. Oh, so it's explained. Maybe I need to actually like properly read this book. Ooh, anyway, so that's one deck in 10 minutes. But yeah, so I'm now actually quite intrigued. I've piqued my own interest by see, this is why this is a good video to try and make, because I've just like gotten excited about a deck that I was just very much like, I'm probably gonna just get rid, but I might have a play with it. Okay, let's look at a tarot next, seeing as a lot of you folks are here for the old tarot. This I won in a competition last year. It's the Autonomic tarot. It's just the majors. I think it has a few extra cards. It's Rough Trade Books. Anyone who knows Rough Trade Records as well here in the UK. I don't think I've been to is there a Rough Trade bookshop like on its own? Because I've been to Rough Trade Records like near Brick Lane loads of times in my life. That's probably the most local branch to me. But there is last year, I think it was last year or the end of the year before, the creators re-released this deck in a full version, all 78 cards, and in a larger format, which I am quite tempted about, because for an indie deck it's actually reasonably priced. It's about 27 to 30 pounds, I can't remember, from Rough Trade, and like the postage is just usual UK postage, so I'm quite tempted. Did I put this in? Yeah, I put this in order because I was going to do a walkthrough of this when I received it, and then I didn't, and then I had a little play with it. And then I was like, oh, should show this at some point and like compare it with another deck. And I just never got around to it. Oh my God, it's so sunny that like, there we go. I'm gonna have to turn that light off for a bit. It's one of those days where it's very cloudy, but when the sun's shining, it's really shining. Now, this isn't gonna like show just how vibrant these colors are. This is a really lovely, actually it's like a muted chartreuse, but still would class as a chartreuse. So we have, I'll just show you some of them. The Fool, it's really out there. I really love the artwork. Look at this High Priestess with these boots. At first, when I first saw this, I thought that she was like, I don't know, maybe there was some like water play going on, but then I was like, oh, that's two for the High Priestess. But also, I guess you could, like, maybe some water sports is going on there. The Empress. I love this, like, dichotomy in a lot of the cards. The Emperor. His little skull. To be or not to be. No, is that the wrong one? Yorick. I don't know. The Hierophant. Interesting that you've got like two characters holding hands, a bit like these are the supplicants and the Hierophant, they're facing the Hierophant, and you as the viewer are the Hierophant looking down at them. which I find quite interesting. The lovers, I love this like whole apple and snake thing. This is one of the, I think I only have like 2 or 3 indie majors only decks, but the ones that I have are quite fun. Adjustment. Okay, so we're taking the like Thoth naming here of Justice, and positioning at 8. So yeah, it's really fun, and I'm very tempted at some point to pick up the I love this death card. I think this is probably one of the most iconic images from this deck. Like, this is the one that people tend to share. But yeah, I'm very tempted to get the full deck, though apparently the cardstock is quite thin, and with the cards being larger than this standard size, it makes them a little sort of precarious to shuffle and quite easy to sort of crease, which is a shame, but I don't know, it's cool, isn't it? So that's that one. Okay, so what should we look at next? Let's look at a lenormand. Okay, just having a sip of water. Can we still see okay? Let me just try with the light. That's a bit better again. Oh, hello puppy. Dr. Nomi is resting in the sunshine next to me. It's her gotcha day today. 13 years ago today we brought her home, and she was so tiny. So here I have something of a curiosity. Even the box makes it a curiosity. It's got the arms, the legs on the back. Isn't it great? This is all stuck down, so I can't open the whole thing out. But isn't that fun? This, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I think this was the first deck created by Wandering Oracle, the people of, is it Jorge? And I think there's another person, I can't remember, of Wandering Oracle, who are known for the Marshmallow Marseille and the Tarot Serene. So this is called the Spooktacular Lenormand. It is out of print, I'm afraid. This was very kindly gifted to me by someone. Actually, I say that. I always say it was gifted to me, but I did make her a pouch or two in return for a couple of decks that she sent me. And she's no longer on Instagram. She sort of disappeared. I don't know whatever happened to her, but she was a lovely lady. So this is the Spooktacular Lenormand Halloween Special Wandering Oracle 2017. So this deck is 8 years old this year. And it's really fun. I love that it's got this sort of aged antique background, but it's not the same. It's different for all of them and different tones. The cards are in various different sort of colors of fine liner. It makes me think of, yeah, like the micron like pigment liners. I don't know, that's what I always think about when I see the artwork in this deck. There, look at this bear happily carving the pumpkin. The last couple of years I haven't been able to carve my pumpkin myself because I've had either hand, elbow or shoulder injuries, so my spouse has to carve, like scoop out the innards, and then I try and carve the pumpkin as best I can. But I'm always like determined to do it. So yeah, and it's got the card insert, it's got the number. It doesn't have the name of the card on it, but if you know Lenormand, it's not a problem. It's really this is garden, and it's a cemetery, and there's like a grave that is open, and then there's this like, don't know if you can see this angel character here. This, I'm so sure, is meant to be like a weeping angel statue. That's my headcanon, that's a weeping angel from Doctor Who, which is, like, in my opinion, the scariest villain that they've ever had on Doctor Who. We have a pumpkin for the bouquet, like with flowers coming out of it. Isn't that cute? Oh my god, the moon. And we've got a wolf howling at it in after transforming. So we have like the path, the ways, the crossroads, people call it various different things. We've got this little scarecrow, and the Emerald City in the artwork is all in green, so there's obviously a nod to the Wizard of Oz. And look at these charming little sort of court card insert drawings as well. They're just incredibly sweet. The cardstock is gorgeous as well. It's a linen, but it's not overly slippy. And it's a really nice wee. It's like a really nice small size. This is the stars, and we have a witch on the broom. Anchor. We've got a mermaid corpse, skeleton rather. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun. It's really up my street. This fox with the little lantern getting ready to trick or treat. It's very clever. Very clever, lilies. The clouds. I love it so much. And we have 2 men and 2 women cards, but I guess you could also, you know, I do prefer when we have some sort of gender neutral options as well. But considering this was 7 years ago, this is 7-8 years ago, it's pretty good to have 2 of each at least. The stork, look at this. Oh my goodness. Creature from the Black Lagoon getting their little squid baby delivered. Oh, it's just so incredibly charming and fun. And it does make me think like that it's Jess Roller's Monster Lenormand, which I also have, but I didn't bring out for that one because it's very cute, but it doesn't feel like a curio. It doesn't feel weird. She does have a Lenormand called the Strange Lenormand, which I don't have, which again I would also like. But this feels like the original, and then she took this sort of spooky fun idea and made her own version, which is also just as charming and fun, and I love that one as well, and I read with that one as well. And I love the backs with all the different bats. They have this sort of like fruit pastel gummy sweets kind of quality to them. I don't know why, like in my head they're like taste like gummy sweets. I want to like pick them off and eat them. Is that weird? I don't know. Who cares? Okay, let's go into the next one. Go on to the next one. Right, let's go with another tarot deck. Here we have tarot cards. Rare Triumphs. This is by Ian Cumpsey. I backed this on Kickstarter. I am so abusive to my like tuck boxes. I'm so heavy-handed and clumsy that this is why I started making pouches for my own decks. That's how that all started, because I either trimmed them and they'd be rattling around in the box because they no longer fit, and it was driving me bananas, or I just absolutely like trash the box. And like drawstring pouches are fine, but they can still I do still have decks in drawstring pouches. You'll see one shortly. But I do find that if I'm taking decks out and about, I want them to be like held securely. Anyway, no one needs a little story about how my pouches came to be. But yeah, this is by Ian Cumpsey, and here we go. He's in England, so this is I really love all of his work, and there are other decks of his that I would like, but again, you know, I have so many decks already and so little time and so little energy and so few pennies. I have to be very, you know, discerning is the word I want to use. Look at this delightful back. Isn't that delicious? It's linen cardstock. This, however, is very slippy. And this, when reading with this deck and shuffling, there has been 78 card pickup with this deck. Let me tell you. So we have this little card at the front. And was it love or money they were fighting over when battle pikes were borne across the fields of clover? Is that from a poem? I can't remember. So this is inspired by some like really old decks. So, and some of the things have been changed as well. So here, and one of my arguments with this deck that did sort of annoy me is that you would take cards that were traditionally like femme presenting, like the High Priestess, and then calling it teacher, and then I think this is like a dude. So, you know, the sun, we have a woman spinning. I remember when I first did a walkthrough of this, and I was like, what is she doing? Is she launching a bottle rocket? Because I hadn't realised that she was spinning yarn there. And I hadn't necessarily, it was before I'd gotten fully into Marseille and learnt about like all the older versions of certain cards. Fame instead of Jugement. And then here is where it gets really interesting, is we have, it's more like playing cards than like traditional suits. Okay, so the spades would be swords, for example. Queen of Spades, she's looking a bit shifty. The faces are great. It's such a fun card. The clubs would be wands, and here you have a nod to Marseille with these little filigrees and things. I can't remember which that one is. That meant to be the Fool. I can't remember. You get some alternative cards, and I always forget that, and I leave them all in, and then sometimes I'm like, what's happening? Diamonds are Pentacles. Arabesques, that's the word I was trying to grasp for when I mentioned this bit here. Strength, here we have the woman with the pillar, which I really like. Again, nods to much older decks. And look at this little, like, my headcanon is this is Dr. Nomi, because Nomi is like this small and this kind of colour. She essentially is about the size of a cat. She's met cats that are bigger than her, which is so funny. Downfall, I mean, instead of the hanged man, which I think is funny, a guy riding backwards on an ass. Knight of Diamonds. Isn't that great? Look at their faces. Look at this death card. Oh, I love all these colours of the red and the blue and these flowers at the bottom. The horse is very sweet as well. It's just a really cute. Hearts are obviously cups. It's just a really fun deck. It's well produced. The artwork's great. Again, a little Nomi. I know it's probably meant to be a cat, but here is an actual doggy. That's too big to be Dr. Nomi. So yeah, we've got Temperance, Chaos, instead of like the Tower. Or is it the Devil? No, the Tower is 15, right? I always get mixed up with what's 15 and 16 in my head. So yeah. Really fun. Trickster. Oh, I can't remember which ones are meant to be like Joker cards or something. I can't even remember. Shall we have a look? There's a little doobly, a little insert, little fold out guy here. Let's have a look at this. Look, I've got my reading glasses on, isn't it? No, it's just got a description of all the major arcana, the triumphs. Oh well. I'm sure I remember learning about it when he did the Kickstarter, and in true fashion I have forgotten. So here we go. That's the Tower. Sorry, so Chaos is the Devil. Yeah, because of course 15 is the Devil. My goodness, sort it out. Numbers are not my strong suit. Suit, get it? Again, a nod to an older style of tarot. Fortune, instead of like the wheel, we have the character of Fortune. So yes, all the virtues. I don't know, if I can't remember if there's virtue. I don't think there's virtues in this one. Nay. Victory, eternity, the world, player. Yeah, I think they're meant to be like the Jokers. I can't remember, to be honest with you. So yeah, so that's the Rare Triumphs by Ian Cumsty. I think it's still available, and it's very reasonably priced. His decks are all reasonably priced. Of course, you know, if you're ordering from overseas, it's going to cost more. But if you're ordering within the UK, I think the postage as well is pretty reasonable, isn't it? Get in there, you sod. There we go. Okie dokie. So that's that one. Okay, so the next one is another like some oracle, I guess, and this was a very much Kelly Fitz of the Truth in Story made me do it. Obviously she didn't. I was inspired to buy this deck, and it's the Kadar cards. Kadar fortune cards. I bought this off of an actual close-up card magic website because it was really hard to get a hold of, and I think this might be out of print, or there's been a re-release of this. Kind of wishing oh no, it's been glued, that's why I didn't open it there. magictau.co.uk and alchemymoon.co.uk. Manufactured by the United States Playing Card Company, but it seems to be designed in the UK. This is a really weird one. Again, another playing card based deck. I know that Kelly Fitz trimmed her copy. There's some, yeah, I was going to find there's a couple of like odd ones that are blanks, and then so you get the playing card denotations in the middle, the numbers in the corners like a traditional deck, but then you get like these upright and reversed meanings. I carry my burden, the neglected garden, and then you have like keywords: lethargy, material worry, struggle, this great pain has given you strength. It's quite interesting. I do, again, the depictions of the fortune tellers is very stereotypical, and that in itself is somewhat problematic. and that's part of the reason I don't really read with this deck, despite the fact that I actually quite love the artwork. Sometimes I just can't get past certain things. And I remember watching Kelly Fitz read with this deck. It was really interesting to watch her work with it. But I guess if I just trying to work out how to get past that is probably just trying to view it as carnival characters. I don't know. And then the aces here: emotion, intuition, dream, questions of the heart. So yeah, it's quite interesting. The scholar, I think alone. So it's very strange. Well, this is why it's in this bloody video, isn't it? So it's a curio. But yeah, I've never been able to, other than like, you know, these sort of problematic stereotypical depictions of fortune tellers. I also, when I did try to read with it, I couldn't seem to sort of make it work for me. I do like this sort of Joker character with the black nail varnish, very fab. So yeah, I don't know. And I've held on to it because, you know, it is out of print, and it's, I don't know, I just hung on to it. It has been in my purgatory / get rid box for a long time, but I pulled it out along with the karma cards because they are also curios. So yes, so that is that one. Let's do another tarot. This was the other deck that I won in the competition where I won the Autonomic tarot, and I got 2 decks, and this is a full tarot, and it's the Tarot Cats by Ana Juan. This, I believe, is a Fournier. Is it a Fournier? It feels yeah, Fournier. I love the size of Fournier decks. I love the cardstock of Fournier decks. I think they do some really fun and interesting decks. I believe it's a Spanish company. And I'm not really a cat person. Like, I don't hate cats or anything. It's just I've always been, you know, I've always had dogs and I have my own dog now, and I've just always been a dog person. Plus my mum's allergic to cats, so we couldn't have a cat growing up. So this is in order because, again, it was one of those decks I was going to do a walkthrough of, but I don't I don't really, come on, focus. I don't really see it, even when people share cat decks. And I guess also because it's in Marseille. There's other Marseille based cat decks, I believe. I'm still waiting for the dog deck that speaks to me. There's not enough dog decks. I love this magician with his sort of snaky belt. I mean, they're so weird looking. I love it. Like, if I'm gonna have a cat deck, it's got to be Marseille, and it's got to be weird like this, right? Like, it's the perfect cat deck for me. Look at this. The faces just send me, because they're almost human. Lovely. We've got like the little buttholes. Tails up. Yeah, it's got the Spanish. Los enamorados, the lovers. El carro, the chariot. Yeah, it's Spanish. La justicia. Cesar, if you're watching this, Cesar, let me know if I am. My Spanish pronunciation is muy mal. My, yeah, la fuerza. El colgado, la muerte. Look at this one. This particular bit makes me think of Roxanne Coble of By Bun's artwork, where she draws like these kind of like skeleton type characters. It feels very, this bit feels very her style, which is interesting. It just looks so unbothered, like, or so just done with it all. Oh, it's great. It's so much fun. So yes, I'm into it. If people would like to see a walkthrough of this or any of the other decks that I'm showing here, let me know and I'll see what I can rustle up for you, eh? Sota de copas, Knave of Cups, staring down this fishy. It's like, I'm going to eat you, fishy. There's no getting around it. You're mine. The fishbowl. He's already eaten that fishy. There's a helmet. It's great. So yeah, so I find it charming. Obviously, I'm not going to show the whole deck, but it's weird. Weird, and that makes me happy. It tickles me. So yeah, I need to do a if I'm going to do a walkthrough of this, I need to do it soon, because I'd put it back in order so that I could do a walkthrough, and then didn't get round to it, and then I kept not picking it up because it's in order and I don't want to have to put it back in order. Not that that takes very long, but well, it's not back. It's not in order now. I'm gonna have to sort that out after this video, and so right. So that's that one. Goodness, you think I could think of something better to say than so that's that one after every time I show you a deck, but there we go. Let's have a gander at another oracle. This I would call a curio. I think people are more aware of this one than some of the others. It's the Pathfinder Oracle deck by Skullgarden, created by Andrew Schwartz. I always want to say Schwartz, but it's Schwartz, and it always catches me off guard. The guidebook is very handy. So you have these square cards, which are actually meant to be positioned as a diamond shape, like so on there, like this, with the points down and up, and then you get these different little symbols. So you have this filled in, which is a positive, the empty, which is negative, and then you have a filled in with a crescent, and that's active, and then a filled in with a crescent with an empty circle, and that's passive. So you get to choose, again, a bit like the karma cards, what speaks to you the most, depending on sort of what's, you know, like if you're linking up, or they can play with each other. And then the way I read it is, or whatever is at the top is the main energy. So you know, here would be active, here would be negative, but also, like, as if you've got like a negative and a negative, that's you know, that's almost like doubling up if they're joining each other. Or if you've got a positive or negative, it's like balancing it out. And the same, you can just sort of play around with it. And also sometimes, like I said, what I'll do for choosing mother fudgers is I'll just show you because it's easier. Other times I want to keep it open, and so I want to like choose your own adventure, and I will put it this way so no side is upright. And then I read these and I work out what feels the most like apt. Does that make sense? So there's two different ways. Predominantly I use it this way because it makes for really fun spreads, because you can connect them like this to the sides, or you can connect them like this to the points. So that's really fun. Obviously if you're just doing them this way, you're just connecting them to and then it's more like just a regular tarot. But if I'm pulling like a single card, sometimes I change it up and do it just the square and pick. I just play around. This is one of those decks I really like, just play with. It's really fun. Anyway, fuck, I meant to show you some of the cards. So here we go. This is sort of based in sort of a desert landscape. And the way that I get around it not being a kind of terrain that I am very familiar with, I have visited places that are sort of deserty. You know, I've never lived in a deserty area, although climate change is certainly going to change all that at some point, I imagine. I see this as a dreamscape, and will utilize some of the cards like the door or the canyon to step into the dreamscape if I'm path working. And this is also the way that I view the Tarot of the Sweet Twilight, which I did a little trade with Imi of Sapling Tarot last year. They sent me the deck and I made a pouch for them in response. So behind with my pouch making trades. I'm struggling just to make pouches for my shop to get by at the moment, let alone extra ones. So I'm hoping to get to them all at some point. But bills come first, unfortunately, or resting if I'm struggling with a flare up or a crash. Chronic illness life, innit? So yeah, it's really interesting. this one. There's like some slightly alien-y ones, which I'm like less fond of. This little, so cute. But I love Andrew. I always want to say Andy Schwartz, and it's Andrew Schwartz. My brain just will not look like, just it just won't stick. But yeah, it's a gorgeous deck. Here we go. Here's the door card. The colours are scrumptious. Again, the colours even work with the Sweet Twilight. Oh, my ears have gone a bit, what's the word? You know, when your ears pop, and your hearing goes a bit weird. Muffled. Cosmos, that's a lovely one. I just imagine that's lying on the ground looking up at the sky, the night sky. So yeah, that's that one. It's a curio. I know that there was a mini version for people that backed the Kickstarter. I wish I'd backed the Kickstarter, but I, again, was not in a position to do so at the time. The mini is just so stinking cute. And I just love this deck, but yeah. I missed that boat, and that's fine, because this you know, this is a good size actually, to be honest. I just like mini stuff because it's so cute, and it gives, I just can't with cute small things. So yeah, that's the Pathfinder Oracle deck, and I believe it is still available. I'm not sure. Right, let's do a tarot deck again. This is a prize draw. I won this in a prize draw several years ago. 2018, I want to say. I won this. Navigator's Tarot of the Mystic Sea. US Games. This is an old deck. I can't remember when it was first published. Printed in Switzerland? I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. But it's a really weird... I want to say maybe I don't know what it's based on. I've never really read with this. I want to say it's probably Thoth based. I can't remember having read, you know, the bits and the little bits and bobs. I've not really examined the... Is there a... Oh yeah, I don't think there was a... That was it. There wasn't a little... Is there a little white book? Oh, the little white book's probably in my bag of little white books. I have like a case of them. Actually, I'll show you. Okay, so this is my case of little white books, and it's very chunky now, so I had to take it out. But originally I would keep this in my A5 tarot binder, and I would just put any little white books for any decks that I owned into here, so I had access to them quickly if I just sort of fancied having a little gander at them. But actually I've ended up with so, and this isn't even all the little white books. I've had to stop putting them in here because it is getting a bit chunky. I had to take it out of the binder, so yeah, I've even stopped putting them in there. I should probably find like a different case to put them in, and then I can put this back in my tarot binder to put other things in it, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, so that's where it's probably in there. Hang on, let's see if I can find it. Yeah, I found it pretty quickly actually. It was like the fourth one that I pulled out. So yeah, so Navigator's Tarot of the Mystic Sea. Does this say? Just a quick meow. Doesn't really say anything about where it's, what the inspiration for it. I don't know. Anyone who has this deck, works with this deck, let me know if you know. And I almost trimmed this deck so I just have the artwork, because I'm not a fan of keywords. But I've since read with Thoth since getting this deck, and it bothers me less. So yeah. See, I don't know. Consecration, universe, that's the world, right? It's so weird. I've never really read with it. I keep saying it's one of those decks I always like, oh, I must get around to that because it deserves a deep dive, as we like to say. I mean, what the fuck is going on? It's so weird. What is happening? It's great. Is that an eagle with a sword or a cross? I don't know what is happening. But I never get around to it. The star, revelation. Look at that. Isn't that just wonderfully bananas? So yeah, I think it also puts me in mind of kind of the art style of the Barbara Walker deck, which I would also like to get that little, well, you can only get the tinned version now. I don't understand why they did like a tinned version but didn't release a full-size version, because I think it's got quite big borders as well, and if you're putting it in a tinned version, then loads of that space is taken up by the small space on a small card is taken up by border. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't trim this now. I'm really glad I didn't trim this. It's just weird, isn't it? It's weird. I mean, that's a bit more sort of, although he's jumping off. The Knight of Pentacles, that's like the most dynamic Knight of Pentacles I think I've ever seen, jumping off almost sort of fool-like off of a cliff. There's no way this like bird wouldn't have flown away already. Oh, his stirrup come off? Oh, there's so many, you see what I mean? There's so much going on. I thought that was a head. I think it's just meant to be a rock. There's like a little piggy there and a bird. Like there's just, it's almost Bosch-esque. Not quite, like it's not as detailed as a Bosch painting. But you know, like when you just look at a Bosch painting and there's like loads of like weird things that you don't always spot. There's always something to see. It's a bit like Finding Waldo, Where's Wally, or whatever it is. Well, treading on the tortoise. That's a bit rude. But yeah, it's weird, and now I'm like, oh, I kind of want to keep it out now. I think I'm going to keep it out. Maybe I'll have a play with it. Maybe I'll play with it alongside the Thoth. I'll pull cards from the Thoth and then pull the corresponding. See, yeah, we've got foundation. Meow, meow, meow. So yeah, it's weird. Oppression for 10 of Wands. So yeah, I'm thinking it's Thoth based. Does anyone else have this deck? Does anyone read? Is this one of those decks that people like really read with? So I'm getting really distracted by how like my ears feel right now. What is going on? Is that like a uterus? No idea. It's freaky as fuck, but I kind of love it. So yeah, let me know if you read with this deck, how you find it. And imagine it is Thoth based. So yeah, again, if you want to walk through, I'm sure there's already 12 million walkthroughs of this out there, but if you want to walk through with my inane commentary over the top of it, let me know. Let's get this guy out the way. And then I've got 2 more decks. I've got an Oracle deck and a Tarot deck left, and then that's all 10. Okay, so the Oracle deck that I have left to show you is just, I'm very, very fond of this deck. It's a deck I've had for quite a while. I think the Kickstarter for this was fulfilled in 2018. I'm not quite sure. It's the Arcane bullshit. Completely serious and mystical fortune telling for serious occultists. Not you, Dave. Lol. Joke. It's incredibly irreverent. It's incredibly funny. My name should be in here, I think, because I think it's, no? Oh no, I can't remember where there's listed all the people that backed the Kickstarter somewhere, but I can't remember, maybe it's somewhere else. Yeah, and it's just weird silliness. Yeah, 2018, don't steal my shit, guys. It's just everything. I love Evan Doherty. I've been following him since about 2017. In his stuff, like some of the stuff that he puts out has changed, but he still occasionally puts like Arcane bullshit style, the deck I mean, style stuff out. They're not numbered. They are, I mean, they're numbered in the book here, but not on the cards. They're not in alphabetical order. Trying to find the cards when you're doing a reading in this book is tricky, but I think that's meant to be part of the chaos of this deck, so I just go with it. I mean, come on. Oh, shit sandwich. The different style of shuffling techniques of the ancients. The Bachelor. Just let the cards ooze out all over the floor. Never pick them up. The Holy Fuck. Set your deck on a shelf and wait for it to mysteriously fall over on its own. The Thunderdome. Divide the deck into 2 piles. Put the 2 piles side by side and shout 2 deck center, 1 deck leaves until they are shuffled. I mean, if you've never seen Mad Max Welcome to the Thunderdome, that's going to make no sense to you, but there you go. It's sort of like an 80s reference for you. The Postman. Put each card in an envelope and mail them to random addresses around the world with instructions to mail them back to you. Wait 12 to 28 business days. Now they're shuffled. Like, it's the whole thing. Shuffling tips matter. I am the shuffle puppet. Under your breath before you start. I might just do that next time I read with this deck. So yeah, it's great. It's great. The book itself is great. And the cards are silly. Anyway, so that's enough about the book, but the book is also so funny. It's just the whole thing. It came with so many extras. He met his stretch goals multiple times over and kept adding new stretch goals and kept smashing them. And so I got like iron-on patches, pins, stickers, a spread cloth, like just so much stuff. This boy is a chunker wonker. Hang on, what's going on there? What's happened there? Why have they gotten, what's happened? Oh my goodness. Oh, it's just the very back one is, look at this boy. What? The black, it came with the black edging. Thank you very much. That saved me edging over 100 cards. I can't remember how many are in here. A lot. The backs are there. Is it the, so I'll show you. Horrible sweaty spot. It's just, the whole thing is just silly. It's just great. And actually I have worked with this deck for since I've got it. I just love it, and it reads really well. Like it of course it is irreverent and silly and meant to be fun, but I find I get really good readings. And I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago I was doing this 2-card reading over on Instagram where I'd call it the profound and the profane. And what I would do is I'd pull a card from like a regular serious tarot deck, like a tarot deck that isn't trying to be silly, and then I would pull a card from this, a deck that is very much trying to be silly, is being silly, and read the two together for a profound and profane, like a card from the profound, a card from the profane, but getting essentially a message that helps, that is useful. And it was really good, and like people were really enjoying the series. I kind of burnt myself out on it, but every now and then I'm like, maybe I'll do like a week of them or something. So here we go. I'll show you some cards. You'll probably like, get on with it. Show me some of the cards. Rhubarb Tony. I have to break this into 3 piles and then shuffle those individually. And usually what I'll do is I'll divide it into 3 piles, pick which one I want to work with and put the others aside and shuffle and pull from that, because it's just too much. A raptor riding a dolphin in space. Robo-Dodo. The golden retriever. The digging ghost. There's some great cards. I wonder if I'll be able to find some of my favourite ones. Instinct. Is that like that reptilian brain, I guess? Future Grandma. The surfing chimp. It's all over the bloody shop, isn't it? Knees. I don't read it reverse, I just read it as is. The pooper vomiting on cats. I mean, these little cats have no idea what's about to hit them. Literally. Baseball goat. I wonder if we'll see the inverted squirrel. I wonder if we'll see penis weasel, which is one of my favourites. Just the. But we have what appears to be a chimp. Some kind of alien or stormtrooper-esque character, Death's Head moth, and then a what is possibly a nuclear warhead plummeting. Interesting. Something. Maze face. So yeah, it's just, I did do a walkthrough of this years ago, and Evan actually contacted me and said that he really enjoyed the walkthrough, and to say thank you and stuff, which was really cool. Big sexy Satan, saxophone fetus. I mean, a cat licking its butt for its own butt for eternity. The all-seeing slice. Anyway, you get the idea. It is it's just it's brilliant. Shark, trombone, and 3 sandwiches. And some, like with the Kickstarter, he had a stretch goal where if he reached a certain point, those of us that backed the Kickstarter could recommend names for other cards, ideas for other cards. So I entered an idea for a card. I can't remember what it was. It was something along the lines of fuckety fuck or something, but something very similar did end up in this card which he chose. So, or maybe he already had a card like that, so he didn't pick mine, but someone won. I can't remember who won, and he put, or there was 1 or 2 or 3, I can't remember, and he made the cards as well. because yay. So yeah, that's the Arcane bullshit, and it is just so much fun, and I genuinely love it and read with it. And finally, here's one of those horrendous, awful drawstring bags that I actually hate. Something else came in this, and I kept saying to myself I'd do a little pouch for this because it came wrapped in like a paper, and it kept annoying me every time I had to open it. No, it didn't. It came with just a belly band. That was it. I'm thinking of a different deck. It came with just a belly band. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to put. So I just, whatever was in here, I took out and then just stuck it in here. But it's that like horrible sensory experience. So this is Tarot de Marseille, illustrated by Victoria Dorsch, and it's a majors only. Again, it's not a deck that I see very often. But if I'm doing a tirage en croix with majors only, this is one of my options. This deck is often out for use for me, and it's just very fun and playful. Le mat, le pep, le pepes. It has a little bit of like playful heart, pip speak tarot vibes, but this is quite a few years old. I don't actually know when the backs are great, aren't they? I don't actually know when she released this deck, and I don't know if you can still get it. L'Empereur, and I love how some of the characters, they are just they're galaxy. Like, can you see? Like, she's made out of galaxy, or they're made out of galaxy. Little pimply butt. It's just charming. Look at this l'étoile. Oh. Beautiful. Le Maison du. I just find it very charming and whimsical. We've got a nod to, oh god, what deck is it where the Le Pendu looks like it's been a bit of a misprint, where, you know, he ends up looking like he's standing up and he's been electrocuted. La Rue de Fortune. I love the little characters on here. Come on, camera. Dear little face. La Justice. She looks kind of mad, and I kind of love it. Or she's really focusing, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this weird, like, I don't know. But in my head, when I see this, I think of, you know, in The Simpsons, where the gangster says to Bart, capiche, and he hears catfish, which I quote all the time for some unknown reason. It's just a thing that's stuck in my head. So every time I see this, I hear in my head catfish. So yeah, it's a really fun, charming little deck. I'm really glad that I have it. It wasn't expensive. The shipping from France, the postage from France wasn't very much either. It's really whimsical and playful and sweet. Yeah, and I loves it. It's just a major, so that's not always going to be an appeal for people. But if you read Marseille and you are partial to sometimes doing a majors only reading, it can be, you know, let's do two. Television. Not that you can see it all, but there you go. So that is a selection of the curios in my collection. Yeah, what do you think? What was your favorite? Have you never seen some of these before? Do you own some of these? Are you interested in purchasing some of these now you've seen this? Would you like a walkthrough of any of these? Let me know in the comments. I want to know your thoughts, and I'll link Tom Benjamin's original video that inspired this one in the description box as well. I highly recommend you go and check that one out as well, because it's a good time, it's good fun, lots of interesting decks. So I want to say thank you to Tom for inspiring this video, and thank you to you for taking time out of your day to listen to and or watch me ramble along and show some decks. And yeah, I hope that wherever you are watching this, you are safe and you are well, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao.